All right, we're back from back-to-back buys. We've got a game against Clemson under your belt. DJ, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. It feels like it's been a while since I've been on it.
Yeah, so since it's been a while, take us through. I'm curious, what were the back-to-back bye weeks like? Because I know you usually don't get
Mhm.
back-to-back buys, and when you do, I'm just curious what it's like.
It was weird. I'm not gonna lie. It was definitely different. It almost felt like I was a normal student for where with no like responsibilities on the weekend as far as football. But it definitely felt weird. It was a good time though to get back to like the fundamentals football. Watching some NFL tape in the meeting room since we did have 2 bye weeks. We
Mhm.
were able to our peers at the highest level. And as well as just get our bodies back. It was a rough 9 weeks of football, just back to back games. So it was definitely nice to get some rest.
Yeah, and of course, coming out of the back-to-back buys, there's some big news again with the announcement of Coach Mora coming. I'm curious from a player's perspective. When did you start to get wind that he might be the guy, or did you hear things about the coaching process before he was announced?
I actually had no idea what the coaching race was or who was in it. So when we heard about it, we actually heard about it on Thursday when everyone else did. But we heard about right before it was announced. We had a
Mhm.
meeting with the AD, David Benedict, as well as Coach Mora, Coach Spanos, everyone. So we got the news like literally right after practice, like straight from practice, straight to the team room announcement, and then that's when we found out.
So, the announcement comes out. I know he flew down to meet the team at Clemson. Did you get to interact with at all with him? It seems like from the clips I've seen online, he took some time to make sure he was, dapping everyone up after the game and stuff. But what's it been like getting to know him a little bit?
I haven't got to know him too much yet, but definitely from the short span of time being around him, he's definitely a good dude. I had the chance to kind of know him through him coaching at UCLA and me being a
The
LA native.
Cali guy, yeah.
Exactly. So I definitely know he's gonna turn this program around, and I'm definitely excited to see what the future holds with him leading the charge.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool seeing the connections too. Coach Spanos having coached under him in the past as his DC at UCLA. So kind of weird just to see how it all came kind of full circle there. So let's take us through the what the Clemson experience was like. I mean, you think of like top places to play in college football, and Death Valley and Clemson probably has to be up there on top of the list. What was it like getting to head down there and play?
It was definitely a really good experience. For me especially, it felt good to be back in that kind of atmosphere, coming from Notre Dame, where that's pretty much the atmosphere each and every week. To be back in that atmosphere, it's like whoa, like this is college football. Like fans just unrest, like just
Yeah.
constant loud. Warm ups can barely hear, so it's like yeah, this is it. Like this is the experience in the crowd that you love to be in front of.
We've talked in the past about the strength of special teams and what they've been able to do. What were your thoughts as you see that opening kickoff return for a touchdown there?
Man, it's crazy. Going into the week, of course, we look at the film, we watch the film. So you see Clemson's team covering kicks. I believe their kicker had like 29 touchbacks coming into the game. So we knew we would only get a few opportunities to return some kicks. But we knew that, once we got the opportunity, we were going to take it out. So to see Brew just go off the first kick, it's like, man, like this is electrifying, especially
Yeah.
because into that kickoff, of course, the crowd's on its feet. It's their homecoming. They're all loud. And then to see him run it back and the crowd gets so quiet, it definitely felt good on our sideline just to hear the crowd go quiet and then hear the UConn fans, just the loudest people in the stadium.
Yeah, no, the high five, I think at like the 25 or whatever had to be my favorite part there. It's like that's where you know you got it.
Exactly.
So looking at the defense, I mean, you guys put up a really solid effort against Clemson. And it's been really cool to see the offense or the defense rather grow throughout this season from when you look back at starting against Fresno to where you guys were against Clemson. How have you felt that the unit's grown and really kind of culminated in a pretty good defensive effort against a really good Clemson team?
I think we've grown tremendously. Just knowing the assignments. knowing our assignments and not having, a lot of different change as far as like rules and different techniques.
Mhm.
Previously in the past, sometimes we might start the week with, on this certain coverage, play outside leverage. And then we get towards the end of the week and it's like, no, never mind, play inside leverage. Now it's this is the rules, this is how we're doing it, and
Yeah.
that's it. There's not much flip flop in between the week, and not a lot of new installation. We're running the plays that we've been running since the beginning of the season, stuff that we've repped a lot. So now it's like the back of our hand. Like, when you're
Yeah.
running the same plays over and over and executing them, it's easy to just fly around and play fast because you know what you're doing versus throwing in a new call on a Wednesday, repping it probably 5 times going into the game, and then that being the number one call. So I definitely think the defense has grown tremendously.
So you go from one tough road venue at Clemson, and now you head down to Orlando. What are your thoughts headed into UCF this week?
It's going to be another crazy crowd. It's the bounce house. So
Yeah.
uh, my one experience there came in 2019 when we played them on ESPN, and that place was rocking. So I expect nothing less than that. So it'll be nice to go back down south again, and hopefully run another opening kickoff back and quiet the crowd.
I know I'm not sure if there's anyone still from the Bob Diaco days when there was the whole civil conflict thing between UConn and UCF. Anyone on the team ever think about that, or has that come up at all as you get ready for this week? I know the fans still think about it all the time.
No, no, there's not that many deals left. I don't even think there are any. If I'm not mistaken, maybe J Rose might be the only one,
Okay.
or maybe. But no one really talks about that within the facility. But everyone does talk about how big of an atmosphere and how big of a game this is going down to Florida and playing UCF.
Yeah. Having you know played some tough teams early on and playing a tough schedule throughout. You culminate though with three really tough teams here with Clemson, UCF, and then Houston. What do you think? It shows. Not only the team but the fans too. The growth from that game against Fresno, to showing that you could go out against some of these top teams here at the end and really compete.
It just shows the fight and resilience of this team. During the Clemson game, a couple of the referees they had talked to Coach Spanos and told him like they were extremely impressed with us as far as being able to come down to Death Valley with everything we've been through this whole season,
Yeah.
all the different twists, turns, long game stretches, like all different kind of stuff, and to come out here and just never fight, never give up, and earn the respect of a lot of people that going into that game you might assume, oh, this team's just going to lay down. This team,
Yeah.
once they started scoring, they're just going to lay down. But we didn't. We fought to the very end. And I talked to one of the referees as well, and was like, yeah, we're going. He's like, he asked who we had next week. I let him know we have UCF. I said we're going through a little 3-game gauntlet to end
Yeah.
the season. And he's like, yeah, no, definitely. He's like, they'll only make you guys better. He's like, and you guys have gotten better. And I said, yeah, definitely. You could definitely see the improvement. So to the fans, it's just stick it through, and there's new help on the way with Coach Mora.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dabo had to throw the fake field goal at you. They were playing a little anxious there in the first quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing that fake field goal was like it makes you feel like, okay, like we have Clemson over here running fakes, to score on us
Yeah.
because defense is holding them. It's definitely some positives you could take away from that game.
When we talk about the schedule here, one thing that I've always been curious to, and I know it's been brought up a lot lately, especially with the coaching changes and everything, and that's whether or not independence seems to work. From a player's perspective, what's it like getting to play a schedule like this? Because for me, it seems like they've really, in looking into the future too, have been able to put together some really exciting schedules with not necessarily feeling like you need to be in a conference. How have you felt the change? Because you've been with them when UConn was in the American and now as an independent. Has there been any difference outside of the opponents there, and some more excitement maybe around the schedule?
Outside of the opponents, it's playing independent. It's every game really matters. Whereas when you're in a conference, you might drop a couple non-conference games, but you can always look forward to, okay, let's just go undefeated within the
Yeah.
conference and make a conference championship. But when you're independent, every game matters. It's all about what bowl game can you make it to. And then when you get really, really good and independent, it's now let's get to the national championship. It's national champion or bust, or playoffs or bust. So definitely I like the independent schedule. You're able to play teams from coast to coast without any limit, and play against really top-notch talent. I don't think that we could put together a schedule like this or like next year with being a conference. So I definitely think this gives guys the opportunity to play against some really, really good opponents.
Yeah, no, for me personally, it's just been a lot more exciting in seeing who's coming up on the schedule in the future too. There's going to be a lot of fun games coming up, getting whether it's some of the regional teams or just some of the big names nationally. I think it really makes, for an exciting season and seasons coming up. So DJ, I'll get you out of here on this one. I don't want to look too far ahead. But as we head towards the end of the season here, I know the last couple games for you here at the collegiate level. What's the experience been like for you? How are you feeling heading into these last couple games?
It's crazy because it's like it went by fast, but it didn't go by that fast. Going through the 6 years of college, but it's been a crazy experience. I've been blessed with the opportunity to play this game for so long, and I've been able to be at the both ends of the spectrum when it comes to college football. I've been able to experience the lows, the highs. So definitely, it's been a crazy ride, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, no, we've all enjoyed watching you out there, DJ, and we've still got more to come. We still got 2 games left. So, DJ, really appreciate the time. Looking forward to UCF, and we'll catch up next week before we wrap up with Houston.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right, we'll talk to you later.